Sit back and relax as we discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights. 2024, when the heavens lit up. A rare comet raced across the sky.
Just so excited to capture my first night under the stars. It was magical.
And a look at how capturing Colorado's outdoors has been life-changing for those gifted photographers who can't wait to get out there. And we lift up a legendary Coloradan whose decades of work and his life's passion will leave a legacy of exploration for generations to come. Welcome to this Denver7 special presentation of Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights. Discover Colorado is Denver7's ongoing exploration of our beautiful state, its people, places, and things that define this Colorado way of life. Stories, segments, and specials you can always find at denver7.com/Discover Colorado. Or you can binge watch all this beauty on Denver7's YouTube page. Back in 2019, we were looking to bring a little bit of positivity to your Facebook feed. That's when our photography group was born. Discover Colorado through your photos Facebook group has now grown to over 230,000 followers. A community that comes together to share glimpses into our individual journeys across this gorgeous state. Some with an iPhone, others with their dreams set out, capturing Colorado's magical seasons, epic light shows, and winter wonderlands, and sometimes crazy weather, its celebrations, and its iconic sights, year after year, making our state's great outdoors a little bit more accessible for those who don't get out as often as before, bringing joy to those of us who get to share in the awe of it all. And that includes the talents and unique styles and stories of photographers in the group who become recognizable names in our social feeds. Like two of our very favorites here at Denver7, Tammy Roberts and Elaine Nicole. We caught up with them, curious about how their photography journeys unfolded this year. And if their awe-inspiring journeys encourage you, well, that's just half the picture.
Even in my darkest times and then when I was at rock bottom, is to never give up and never lose your faith and your hope.
Just like the sunsets, the sunrises, each are a daily reminder you can always start over.
But the mountains is like where I find my peace in my heart, my soul. I don't feel judgment. I just feel free.
And one of Elaine's highlights this year was during her birthday weekend back in May. Remember these epic nights? A stretch of days when the Colorado sky was a showstopper. The heavens all lit up, illuminating these cosmic glows through her viewfinder. This incredible capture, her very first Milky Way shot.
That was my birthday shot because I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that. It was magical. It was a moment I won't forget.
Because that was the very first time I saw it and we're all just like, oh my gosh, oh my God. And it was just so gorgeous and the colors kept changing and it was just so amazing.
The Colorado night sky was magical through Tammy Roberts' viewfinder too.
You look up and the sky just pulsates. You see movement in it.
Driven to learn more about dark sky photography, Tammy set out on several nighttime adventures this year.
It's just, I look back on it and I'm like, wow, I never expected to see this or I never expected to see that. It's just been a great year for astrophotography.
Elaine's journey is capturing poignant sunrises, peaceful moments, and sharing them with all of us is a story about what can happen when you capture a brighter perspective on the path ahead. Perhaps an even more beautiful thing, when that new perspective comes into focus on the other side of the lens.
So we're going to rewind and we're going to go back to the not so pretty stuff. This is all what got me to where I am now.
And where Elaine is now is here. Everywhere there's something a beautiful heart has to chase.
You know, I was kind of wild when I was younger. I was drinking. I was around the wrong people. Got myself in a lot of trouble.
Before she worked 3 months of overtime to buy her camera, and before she ever discovered she had a knack for capturing the magic of her home state through her iPhone.
Back in like 2012, you guys actually aired some drug indictments and stuff out of Longmont. Well, during that time, you know, I hit rough patch. Luckily, I didn't go to prison, but I still had a community correction sentence. And then once everything came out and I got caught up in the mix of that, it was really embarrassing. It was hard. I didn't want that life for my kids. I wanted to be better. So it was actually my daughters that inspired me to just do whatever I needed to do, get done.
Elaine paid her debts, excelled in community corrections, and began to turn a corner.
You know, I lost everything I had. I've, maintained my sobriety.
Her life back on a foundation. Elaine knew deep in her heart there was still healing in her future.
So I just started focusing on myself, and I didn't want to resort back to like alcohol and drugs. So I just started going for like drives again in the mountains. And then I started doing hiking, and then that's when I started taking pictures with cell phone.
A path shared by so many Coloradans who sometimes have to go out alone with only the peaks and wide open skies as company to sort out your emotions, to get inspired by the calm and awe of these mountains and find courage to rebuild a life.
If you hike with me, I'm not somebody that runs up the mountain. We're stopping like 5 million times because I'm gonna take a picture or I see a little critter.
And in her own way,
just to share what I'm seeing.
Tammy Roberts has been drawn to discover more of Colorado this year for its spectacular beauty and its gentle way of reminding you to breathe when life's unexpected path can get rocky.
I mean, a lot of times I'll say a little prayer when I'm going out and just say, show me what you want to show me, God. And then I just open my eyes and there it is.
Sometimes inspiring faith when you need it most, especially now, as Tammy's daughter faces a very tough road ahead.
I wanted some pictures of her
battling a major health crisis.
It took all summer to figure everything out. And then in the fall is when she started her first round of chemotherapy. Sometimes I go out there I have in my mind a picture that I want, but I get out there and it's like, I see I'm not going to get that. But what I do see over here is something else that's revealed to me. And then I'm like, oh, there it is. That's what you wanted me to see today.
A single image becomes a story when you get to know a little bit about the beating heart behind the lens.
I absolutely love the life I've created. Just to know where I was even 10 years ago to where I was now, I would have never, ever imagined.
And how lucky are we to have so many creative photographers to celebrate thousands of moments to remember over a year of incredible sights. Perhaps one of the greatest compliments you can give a photographer is that with one look, you know it's their photo without even looking at the credit. That's certainly the case with Tammy and Elaine. Coming up next, remembering a Colorado legend and his iconic work, Jim Bishop and his incredible castle, after the break, as Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights, continues. Welcome back to this Denver7 special presentation of Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights. I'm Jeff Anastasio. From corner to corner, our state is filled with seemingly endless natural beauty. You can spend a lifetime exploring our great outdoors and the stunning landscapes we get to call home. But some of Colorado's natural beauty comes from the imaginations of those who dare to dream big. One of those is Jim Bishop, who spent half his life, 44 years, building a beloved tourist attraction, Bishop Castle. This towering stone and iron creation in southern Colorado, nestled among the San Isabel National Forest, lures thousands of visitors each year to its soaring towers and breathtaking views. Back in 1959, at just 15 years old, Jim mowed enough lawns and delivered newspapers to save $450. Then he convinced his parents to let him spend that money on this 2.5 acres of Colorado paradise, the very beginning of a 4 decades long adventure that would become Bishop Castle. We learned Jim passed away just before Thanksgiving. Denver7 got a chance to meet him last year, and we were surprised to learn he never really had a chance to explore other parts of our state, like Rocky Mountain National Park. He was just so busy building his historic landmark. So when he decided to retire and had time to get out and discover more of Colorado, he just needed a little help to get there. Denver7 Gives viewers were ready to open their hearts for Jim.
Mr. Bishop, we just made it to Indian Peaks Wilderness. What do you think of it?
Great.
A longtime dream has finally become a reality for Jim Bishop. At the age of 79, Bishop is finally getting the chance to explore the beautiful state of Colorado thanks to this adaptive wheelchair called the Extreme Modus.
Well, it's a tricycle, and it rolls real easy. It ain't very heavy. And Chantel's been doing a good job of pushing me around in it. Getting old ain't no fun. I'm a lot weaker than I used to be. I feel good, though, but I do have to move slow. Then I got that round in my back.
Chantel Shoei is the founder and executive director of the local nonprofit Always Choose Adventures. The organization helps people of all abilities and ages access the outdoors. Shoei created a fundraiser to raise money for the adaptive wheelchair. So thanks to that and our Denver7 Gives viewers, she was able to make it happen.
Thank you so much. We got the adaptive wheelchair with the viewers' help at Denver Channel 7. We went on our first adaptive adventure this morning at Brainerd Lake and Indian Peaks Wilderness.
But there's more. Denver7 Gives viewers raised enough money to allow Shoei to order a second adaptive wheelchair.
You guys are amazing. We are getting our second chair here in a couple of days, so we get to add that into our gear library at Always Choose Adventures, and anyone can use it free of charge.
This is the best part of the whole trip so far.
On Wednesday, Bishop finally fulfilled his lifelong dream of going to Rocky Mountain National Park, something Bishop never did during the 44 years he spent building Bishop Castle piece by piece, all by himself. A piece of Colorado history that brings in people from all over the world.
We have one other surprise that you're not aware of. We still have some leftover funds we're going to donate to your organization from Denver7 Gives. We have $6,000 more from Denver7 Gives that can go to Always Choose Adventures, and you can use that however you like in your nonprofit to help people out.
Thank you.
Money Shoei says her nonprofit will put to good use.
We want to get a vehicle to put the wheelchairs in and then pick up people at their doors to take away any barriers that they might have and make them lunch too.
Thank you very much. Feels like freedom.
Amy Wattis, Denver7.
When we learned Jim passed away, our Discover Colorado Through Your Photos Facebook group lit up with photos and tributes to his life and work. And as we had to break, a look at his castle through your lens. And coming up next, there's no place else like it.
It was really fun doing this project because it made me be like, I need to get back up there.
A real gem of a road, soaring high inside Rocky Mountain National Park. The complex story behind Trail Ridge Road as the park gets ready for its 110th birthday when Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights, returns on Denver7. Welcome back to this Denver7 special presentation of Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights. I'm Jeff Anastasio, and speaking of incredible, if you've never had a chance to take a trip down Trail Ridge Road, well, add it to your bucket list. This impressive feat of engineering and Colorado history soars more than 12,000 feet of elevation inside Rocky Mountain National Park, which will celebrate its 110th birthday next year. It takes a lot to keep Trail Ridge Road open and running, an important tourist route that create a whole new way for people to experience and discover Rocky Mountain National Park.
Well, when you go up there, you feel actually like you're on top of the world.
Good luck choosing the best adjective to describe these views, but there's only one place you'll find them.
Trail Ridge Road is the highest continuous paved road in the United States, and it is an unbelievable road.
Tammy Roberts has seen it all through her lens.
And I'm going down the road and I look to the side and there's this small herd of bull elk walking like next to me. It's like, I can't believe it's happening.
The sunrises, sunsets, a marvel for Kyle Patterson, who has seen the lives of so many visitors to Rocky Mountain National Park forever changed.
It's just something that you have to experience because it's top of the world views. When you get to the top of Rocky, which the highest point is 12,183 feet, you have throughout that road, you experience all the different life zones of Rocky, whether it's vegetation and plants and shrubs and flowers, or whether it's the wildlife that calls those places home.
An epic Colorado experience, 48 miles long, nearly 100 years old.
Trail Ridge Road starts before it actually exists.
It's a story History Colorado's Rachel Storm is excited to share. That's her in the early 2000s, arm around a handmade snowman in the middle of Trail Ridge Road.
It was really fun doing this project because it made me be like, I need to get back up there.
Rocky Mountain National Park was established in 1915, but the work to access its beauty started earlier.
Coloradans, we are an impatient bunch, and we weren't going to wait. So they actually started building a road up to Rocky Mountain National Park before 1915.
That road was Fall River Road, and while other parks at the time, Yosemite and Yellowstone, had train service, Rocky Mountain National Park did not. So Fall River Road was a huge milestone for those early visitors.
So it really was the first automobile national park. People are just starting to get automobiles. They hop in their cars. Denver even offers a bus tour service up Fall River Road.
Then in 1919, Congress passed funding for Trail Ridge Road, but only 4 miles of it, and it would be nearly another decade before construction ramps up.
1929 construction really begins in earnest.
Using tractors, horses, and a gas-powered steam shovel, they had only 4 months of the year to work, and at its peak, 150 people built the road.
They opened the road officially July 15th, 1932. And the first year, 250,000 people visit the park. That's a lot of people.
The Trail Ridge Road that opened was not the one we know today.
It's a dirt road. There are no barriers on the side of the road.
But in 1934, New Deal funding came through with upgrades.
And what they do is they put in those really cool crenellated barriers that we still have up there today.
And the visitors started flocking, remarkable considering the tough times.
Most people in the Great Depression don't have automobiles because they cannot afford them. Most people during the Great Depression are not traveling for leisure because it's expensive. But yet 500,000 people come through the park 3 years after the road opens.
A couple years later, Trail Ridge Road became a state highway, and in 1938, they added a unique feature, sticking up on the edge of the road, something we still see today.
They're just like little tiny poles that are all the way aligned along the road because once it gets snowy up there, it gets snowy.
To let the snow plows know where the road is. Snow plowing is a daunting task, but during World War II, all of that came to a stop.
Cutbacks for the Department of Interior stopped snow plowing altogether, so they just had to wait for the roads to open up naturally.
Post-war visitors flocked to the park, and in the 1950s, more improvements come, a median line, and other safety upgrades. And that brings nearly 2 million yearly visitors. Then in the mid-60s, a crown jewel opens.
It's the thing that when you get on Trail Ridge Road, you're going to stop at the Alpine Visitor Center. That's your turnaround point. That opens in 1965.
But by the 1970s, Trail Ridge Road and the park are reaching a crisis point.
Earth Day starts in 1970, and people are like, what are we doing to this park?
Visitors are feeding the animals, car clubs hosting events in the park, newspaper articles report the park being trashed.
So people aren't even trying to keep the park clean, they're just throwing stuff everywhere.
But by the late 70s, opinions and behaviors changed for the better. And in 1982, $2 million helped resurface the road, and the park reaches 3 million yearly visitors by the early 90s. Since then, stonemasons added walls, and on the road's 75th anniversary, $10 million brought much-needed repairs.
We've worked on drainage issues, we've worked on freeze-thaw impacts that we have there. And so not only were engineers dealing with that in the 1920s, but National Park Service staff continue to make sure that we're taking good care of that historic road. It's quite amazing.
An all-American highway, Colorado's scenic byway capturing imaginations for everyone who takes Trail Ridge Road.
You always hear those cliches, nature therapy, inner peace, quiet beauty. You always hear people describe it like that, but it's actually true. For me, it's actually true. That's what I feel when I'm up there.
So many people come to Colorado and fall in love. And then some people take their love to Colorado and make it official. I wanted to share one sweet moment as we wrapped up capturing the Trail Ridge Road story. Driving out of the park, my Denver7 colleague Stephanie Butzer and myself caught this. An out-of-state couple with the picture-perfect background to get engaged. What a beautiful way to start a journey together. And speaking of, this might be just one of the most Colorado things ever. Strap on your skis and let's celebrate the start of some beautiful relationships.
Colorado is no stranger to spectacular photos taken on the ski slopes.
We had a few specific spots, like next to the east wall of the basin, and some pictures going up the chairlifts and just from the top of the mountain that we wanted to grab.
But these particular snapshots are far from common.
You know, the way the mountain comes down onto the slopes there is just the most epic feeling place on earth.
Well, there is certainly that. But it's also because this powder day is also this couple's wedding day.
We wanted to go skiing, and oh, by the way, we'll get married while we're there.
That's Allie and Luke, who were married earlier this year at Arapahoe Basin. They live in the Boston area, but are avid skiers and concocted the ski wedding idea during a recent visit to Colorado.
So I brought her and the family, and then
Fell in love with it. It's just the coolest place.
Natalie Moore, who owns Nat Moore Photography, is responsible for these incredible shots.
They didn't want to have the traditional wedding portraits and kind of that boring stuff, so we just really had fun on the mountain all day.
Now she snaps photos like these from her snowboard, and the cameras are rigged to her snowboarding equipment.
So we just kind of slingshot past each other down these runs, and so they can still have fun and get to shred a little bit, and we still get all the photos.
Now Natalie photographs ski weddings through part of her business called Elope on the Slopes, but she does a variety of adventure elopements year-round. It's a concept that's growing in popularity since the pandemic.
Adventure weddings definitely blew up in 2020. They were a thing before that, but I think they were a lot less well known, and elopements kind of blew up as well.
For Luke and Allie, a wedding ceremony on the mountain in between ski runs was the perfect alternative to the more traditional wedding day.
And I would just encourage more people to think about how they can make their wedding day more authentic to them. And everyone should get married on the mountains in Colorado and ski down. It was just the coolest thing in the world.
For Denver7 and Discover Colorado, I'm Landon Hoff.
And if you feel inspired to get out there next year and discover more of Colorado, well, Denver7 has got you covered. Check out all of our stories at denver7.com/Discover Colorado. And that's a wrap on the special edition of Discover Colorado, a year of incredible sights. And don't forget our popular photography group. Just search Discover Colorado through your photos on Facebook. You're definitely going to want to join. For Denver7, I'm Jeff Anastasio.